Welcome back. Do remember, all our top stories can be found on our website, and that's channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to see us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and update, the Channels TV app has an eyewitness feature. We'd like to encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. The Cross River State government seems set to retain its pride of place in the tourism map of Africa. To this end, the Governor Ben Ayade administration is on the verge of setting up a Las Vegas holiday resort on Twin Island in Cross River State. Governor Ayade made the disclosure when he visited the proposed site through the Calabar waters to have an on-the-spot assessment.
We have committed to setting up a brand new city, which is a resort of some sort, unarguably going to be the most beautiful resort in Africa. It's been designed and tailored after the Cancun resort in Mexico. We're also looking at the Paris city and all the various islands I have taken my time to go through. We have decided, therefore, as Cross River State being the leader of tourism in Nigeria and indeed Africa, we want to set up a brand new resort city called Las Vegas. Las Vegas is located on the Twin Island off the Parrot Island in the Atlantic coast. Not too far from where the governor's lodge is. I can actually see my house from here. That tells you that we're actually really a Cross River State. Indeed, construction work has started. We're building a fine, classic place. Instead of you to go overseas for holiday, you have Las Vegas in Calabar to come spend your holiday. Why look for the dollar when you can spend your naira in Calabar? And everything you're looking for overseas is going to be here. We've ordered a special yacht which is coming in, and I'm sure in the next 3-4 months it will arrive. And that yacht will ferry people in and out of Las Vegas. Las Vegas can only be accessed by air or by water. It is on purpose so that we control traffic, but it's designed for high-end lifestyle. And I'm happy that Cross River State will be the very first state to focus on such sophisticated lifestyle to set up Las Vegas.
Mr. Ben Ayade, Cross River State Governor, one of the means of developing the country, tourism, and another sector that has got the government interested in the ways of diversifying the economy is obviously the agriculture sector. And in that sector is farming. And obviously, with the recent challenges concerning the clashes between farmers and herdsmen concerning cattle grazing in some parts of the country, it begs for attention that this should be solved. We'll be looking at some of these issues with a practicing farmer who is in the studios with us today. Mr. Segun Adeyeye is a representative of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, here to talk to us about these challenges and what he thinks are the best solutions as the government has been preferring at different fora. You're welcome to News Across Nigeria.
Thank you, Moderator.
Now, firstly, we know that cattle grazing is so important to the sector, animal husbandry,
yes.
and grazing is part of the entire equation. As far as the clashes between the farmers and herdsmen are concerned, are you satisfied with the steps the government is taking to look at the best way of addressing the problem?
Well, it's not, one cannot say it's totally satisfied, because if you see the crisis going on within the farmers and the cattle area, it's nothing to write home about. There's no peace. So I think the government has to do more to ensure that there's peace, there's harmony between the farmers and the cattle areas. Because in those days when we are younger, you see that when you see the area, in those days we call them Gambari. Mm-hmm. We are very close to them, we are very young. When they come, we see them on a rare occasion. It's not unlike now that you see a lot of people, you know, and they are like family, one family, a brother's keeper in those days. Not now that you have to see a person rearing a cow, taking a AK-47. So the government has to sit down. We don't want violence, we want peace. And Nigeria is an entity that nobody can go away from another person.
How did these problems begin in the first place? You're a farmer, but before I go there, I want to quickly say, look at one of the measures the Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Ayafayeshe, has taken as far as restricting the movement of cattle grazing is concerned. That seems to be barking up the right tree.
And if you see what the farmers go through before they can from the insertion, somebody want to, for instance, someone want to plant rice or say yam that's very fragile. When somebody has to suffer for like a year, if you plant yam for instance, it's like an egg, so fragile that you have to be there almost every day
to manage
it's not like maybe planting that you can plant it or cassava and you can be going there once in a while. Okay. Yam, for instance, assuming a cow now comes there, something you have labored for 1 year, just consume it. It's not really, it's not fair.
So are you in support of the grazing range reserves, or are you in support of restriction of movement of grazing routes?
Well, if the movement is not jeopardizing the interests of anybody, I mean, the nation is for everybody, but in this part of the nation, we prefer ranching, where you put your animals somewhere. I mean, it's a business, they are doing business. If I want to venture in the business, I know that I have to spend on it. So
it's like having office space, right?
Yes.
I'm going to draw an analogy. It's like having office space.
Yes, it's your own business. You must find a way of doing your business. If I'm doing a business, I must be capable to that my business not jeopardize another person.
But is that a practical solution? And that means that the state governments also have to donate land, and the pasture on which the cattle graze has to be far.
What I think should be done is all the stakeholders have to sit down, both the federal and the state. They have to sit down. There's no state governor who will open his eyes and let his people to be molested, to be their properties being destroyed. No governor will open that. Look at what is happening in Benue State, apart from Ekiti. Look at what is happens in Plateau and some other places. And no governor will open his eyes and see his people being maltreated. So I think what they have to do is stakeholders thing. That even the federal, they still have to sit down with the stakeholders, both the farmers and the cattle rearers. They have to sit down, harmonize with finding a lasting solution to it. Otherwise, if you look at today's paper, you see that the people in Ekiti say they are ready for the worst, because they think it's their land, it's their town, it's their community, it's where they live, and farming is all they do for living. If someone now come overnight, so I think what you have to do is still sit down. You want to come and rear cattle in our village or in our town, we are giving you a particular place. Maybe you are going to be paying stipends.
What do you know of the genesis of this problem? Is it a problem that has been simmering and now it reached boiling point over the last 1 year? Because as it mentioned when you started talking, you said that there's been peaceful coexistence between farmers and cattle rearers.
And that was.
And how did that change? What do you know?
That was.
And there's another school of thought as well that says that some of the people that cause the trouble are not even Nigerians.
In those days, I used to talk. I'm talking about over 50 years ago, or close to 60 years, close to 55 years ago, when I was still young. So those days, they come on rare occasion, not every time. When you see a Gambari, we call them Gambari, they put a stick at their back like this. When you see, we call them Gambari, they cost once in a while. Not now that any angle you see people, even at times when vehicles are passing, they cannot pass easily. You see a lot of cows on the main road, and it's never done like that. And again, like you said, that is the school of thought that these people are not from Nigeria. Some say they are from Cameroon, some say they are from Chad, some say they are from Niger. And you see that how they even acquire this sophisticated weapons is a miracle to people.
Okay.
So I think some governments has to do something, because there is Ekiti we are seeing now. Any other state can take a decision that we have to put, because the governor of the state is a chief security officer of that state.
Okay, we'll take that as your final submission on this issue.
Okay.
Thank you so much for making out the time to come on News Across Nigeria.
Okay.
Mr. Segun Adeyeye, he is the representative of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, and he's based here in Lagos. You're watching News Across Nigeria. Coming up, the latest on the crisis at the Federal Medical Center in Owerri.